Well, welcome again to another episode of Down to Earth but Heavenly Minded. And I'm your host, Risch, and you're listening to Internet Radio. And with that said, I'm going to be going through the book of Revelation today. We've been at it for a while, and today we're going to be in chapter 18. And with that said, let us just read our scripture first. After this, I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was made bright with his glory. And he called out with a mighty voice, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. She had become the dwelling place for demons, a haunt for every unclean spirit, a haunt for every unclean bird, a haunt for every unclean, detestable beast. For all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living. Then I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out from her, my people, lest you take part in her sin, lest you share in her plagues, for her sins are heaped high as heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities, paying her back as she herself has paid back others, and repaid her double for her deeds. Mix a double portion for her in the cup she mixes, as she glorifies herself and lives in luxury. She also lives a like measure. She gives her a like measure of torment and mourning, since in her heart she said, I sit as a queen. I am no widow. And mourning I shall never see. For this reason her plagues will come in a single day, death and mourning and famine, and she will burn up with fire. For mighty is the Lord who has judged her. And the kings of the earth who commit sexual immorality and live in luxury with her will weep and wail over her when they see the smoke of her burning. They will stand far off in fear of her torment and say, Alas, alas, you great city, you mighty city Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment has come, and the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn for her, since no one buys their cargo any more, cargo of gold, silver, jewels, pearls, fine linen, purple cloth, silk, scarlet cloth, all kinds of uh, scented wood, all kinds of articles of ivory, all kinds of articles of costly wood, bronze, bronze, iron, and marble, cinnamon, spices, increased myrrh, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle and sheep, horses and chariots, and slaves, that is, human souls, the fruit of which your soul longs, have gone from you, and all your delicacies and your splendor are lost to you, never to be found again. The merchants of the wares who gained wealth from her will stand far off in fear of her torment, weeping and mourning aloud. Alas, alas, the great city that was clothed with fine linen and purple and scarlet, adorned with gold, with jewels, and with pearls. For in a single hour all your wealth has been wasted, and all your shipmates and seafaring men, sailors, and all who trade is on the sea, stood far off and cried out as they saw the smoke of her burning. What city is like this great city? And they threw dust on their heads as they wept and mourned and cried out, Alas, alas, for this great city, where all who had ships at sea grew rich by her wealth. For in a single hour she has been laid waste. Rejoice over her, O heaven, and you saints and apostles and prophets, for God has given judgment for you against her. The mighty angel took up the stone, like the great millstone, and threw it into the sea, saying, So will Babylon the great city be thrown down with violence, and will be found no more. And the sound of the harpists, musicians, and the flute players and trumpeters will be heard in you no more, and the craftsmen of any crafts will be found in you no more, and the sound of the mill will be heard in you no more, and the light of the lamp will shine in you no more, and the voice of the bridegroom and the bride will be heard in you no more. For the merchants were a great one in the earth, and the nations were deceived by your sorcery, and in her was found the blood of the prophets and saints, and of all who had been slain on the earth. Now, this chapter depicts the destruction of the political powers of the Antichrist. John depicts great sorrow on earth over her destruction. In all likelihood, Rome will become a world center for banking, finances, trading, government, industry, and culture. Men of fortune will both invest and lose here. That is the reason for the sorrow over the destruction. Read Revelation 18, verses 9 through 19. We see in Revelation 18, 20 through 24, that the attitude of heaven will be different. It will be rejoicing that Rome is utterly and completely destroyed, and that no trace of it will ever be found. Revelation 18, 21 through 22. The end.